I've invested the last 10 years of my life into this whole making money online thing. I've gone from making next to nothing to building a website template business that generates over $20,000 per month. But if I'm being honest, I could have achieved this a lot faster if I didn't believe half of the bullshit out there. So in this video, I'm going to break down the 5 biggest myths about making money online that kept me stuck for years so that you can avoid the same mistakes and get to where you need to go faster. So let's get straight into it. The first myth is passive income. And let me be clear, I'm not saying passive income doesn't exist. What I'm saying is that the way it's sold to you is complete crap. You've seen it everywhere online where people sell this dream of doing little to no work and then all of a sudden you'll be earning a shit ton of money while you sit on a beach in Bali. But let me tell you right now, that is the furthest thing from the truth. And to be honest, when I first started out, I believed it. I thought I could create any old product, throw it online and just watch the money roll in. But here's the reality. Passive income is just another word for leveraged income. What that means is that you do the work up front, like build the systems, create the product, set up the marketing and all of that. And if you've done it right, you get paid over and over again for that initial work. That's passive income. But even then, it's not like you're done. You've still got customers to support, marketing to do, and products to update. There's ongoing work that nobody talks about because it doesn't fit the beach in Bali narrative. I've been running my website template business for a few years now. And yeah, I make sales passively. But that only happens because I spent months building out templates, setting up my brand and building my audience. So when people say passive income, what they really mean is that you trade your time and effort up front for recurring revenue later. And that's much more of a realistic expectation to have going into this. The second myth is that you need to quit your job to start making money online. And I learned this one the hard way because I actually did this with my first online business. Back in my music producer days when I was selling instrumentals, I quit everything to go all in. And honestly, the only reason it survived was because I was still living with my parents and I had zero financial responsibility. But if I had rent to pay, bills to cover, or a family to support, I would have been fucked. Because here's what people don't talk about enough. It takes time to build a sustainable online business that makes money consistently. And when you quit your job too early, you put this massive pressure on yourself to make money immediately. And that pressure kills everything. It kills your creativity, your ability to experiment, and your ability to figure things out. It forces you to make short-term decisions instead of building something that lasts and will sustain you into the future. The smarter move that I would recommend to people is to build your business on the side while you've got income coming in. So you're basically using your job as the investor in your business. Because that steady paycheck gives you the freedom to take your time, start testing things, and figure out what actually works without panicking about how you're going to eat next week. Now, obviously doing both at the same time is hard. You're going to have to make sacrifices, whether that means going out a little less, watching a little less Netflix, or just not scrolling on your phone for 5 hours after work. Because let's be real, if building a successful business was easy, everyone would have one. But here's the thing, you don't need to give every waking hour to build something real. That's the lie that keeps people stuck. You'd be surprised how far just a few focused hours in the evening after work can get you. So wait until your business is at least matching your salary on a consistent basis before you even think about quitting. And ideally, you'd have things like an emergency fund in place in case you need it. Quit when the math works, not when you're feeling motivated or when some guy in a course you bought tells you to. The third myth is that you need a huge following to make money online. And this is another one that I believed for a long time. I'd scroll through Instagram and see all these creators with hundreds of thousands of followers making serious money. And I just think to myself, there's no way I can compete with that. I need to build my audience first before I can even think about making a single dollar online. But here's the problem with that mindset. It keeps you stuck in this endless loop of content creation without ever actually building a business. You're constantly trying to post, hoping to grow and waiting for some magic follower count that will suddenly make everything click. But in reality, you don't need a massive audience to start. You just need to be smart about where your buyers already are while you're building your audience. What I eventually figured out is that there are already platforms and marketplaces where your ideal customers are already hanging out. And you can use those to start making money while you build your own audience on the side. And that's exactly what I did when I launched my first website template a couple years back. I had barely any followers at that time, like literally probably less than 50. But I listed it on the Framer marketplace where thousands of people were already looking for templates. And I made over $2,000 in my first month while I was simultaneously building my audience. So the point is, use existing marketplaces and platforms as a bridge while you build your own audience in parallel. That way you're making money and building an audience at the same time, not waiting years to do one before you can start the other. The fourth myth is that you need multiple income streams. And this is one of the ones that I see most people trip up on. And honestly, this one ended up costing me years. I'd hear all these gurus talking about how you need to have 5, 6, 7 different income streams to have real financial freedom. And I thought that's what I needed to do from day one. So I'd be trying to sell digital products, launch a course, do affiliate marketing and start a YouTube channel all at the same time. But you can probably guess what happened. I built absolutely nothing. Because when you spread yourself that thin, you don't have the focus or the energy to make any one thing actually work. You're just going through the motions, making tiny progress on everything, but never getting real traction on anything. The moment everything changed for me was when I stopped trying to do everything and just focused on one thing, which in my case is selling website templates. That's it. And once that was working and bringing in consistent money, that's when other streams start to open naturally. I started getting affiliate commissions because of my templates, and I started getting YouTube ad revenue because I was creating content, and so on. But all of those came from focusing on one thing and doing it well. They weren't random income streams I was chasing, they all aligned with the same mission and built on top of each other. So if you're just starting out, forget about having multiple income streams. Master one first and get it to a point where it's making real money consistently, and then you can add the next one and the next one after that. Because one income stream of $10,000 a month beats 10 income streams that only bring in a couple hundred each. Not to mention that having one income stream makes it so much easier for you to focus, and focus creates momentum. The fifth and final myth is that you need to reinvent the wheel. And this is one that held me back for so long because I kept thinking that I needed to come up with some groundbreaking, revolutionary idea in order to build a successful business. I'd be looking at what already exists and think, well, someone's already doing it, so what's the point? Or I'd come up with an idea and immediately talk myself out of it because it wasn't unique or innovative enough. But what I eventually learned is that most successful businesses haven't reinvented anything. They've just taken something that already works and made it better. I mean, think about it. Uber didn't invent taxis, Airbnb didn't invent hotels, and Netflix didn't invent movie rentals. They just took existing concepts and executed them better, with better user experience, better technology, and better marketing. The market doesn't want revolution, the market wants solutions. And if you can solve a problem better than the next person, it doesn't matter if the idea itself isn't brand new. And it's the exact same thing for my templates. I'm not creating anything revolutionary. Website templates have existed for as long as websites have. But what I focused on was making them high quality, well designed, easy to customize, and aligned with what people actually want. And that on its own has been enough to build a multi-six-figure business on my own. Because at the end of the day, all people care about is whether you can solve their problem, not whether the idea is the first of its kind. So stop waiting for the perfect, groundbreaking idea. Take something that already works, figure out how you can make it better, and focus on quality and execution. That's what actually matters. Now, obviously, knowing these myths is just the first step. The next step is actually putting in the action. And one of those things, like we spoke about, is building an audience. So check out this video where I break down exactly how I built my audience on Twitter or X and how you can do the same. I appreciate your time, and I'll see you there.